So focusing on dynamic intelligence increases the cognitive complexity of the individual and also, by extension, the organization, because the organization is, of course, made up of individuals. It creates dynamic leaders and dynamic leadership. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the specific details of what dynamic intelligence is here. That will be the subject for another webinar or perhaps a training session. But put simply, dynamic intelligence is the process through which we construct our thinking. And it starts with intentions, specifically cognitive intentions, which are little mental shortcuts that we use largely unconsciously in order to operate, in order to think and behave. And then we move through the dynamic intelligence process, takes us cognitive attention, moves through our awareness of them. And the greater our awareness of them enables greater choice in how we think and thus how we respond to our environments. So higher awareness of our cognitive intentions then equates to higher dynamic intelligence. And our dynamic intelligence is also a measure of our self-awareness and our levels of cognitive complexity. Again, there are papers on this. Darren Stevens has written about it extensively, and we could cover that off in another session. So dynamic intelligence is measured based on the balance within our thinking style. The greater the balance, the higher our level of dynamic intelligence. And that's because that balance represents awareness and choice. And you can see in these illustrations of thinking profiles, these are real thinking profiles of real people, that as the level of dynamic intelligence, as measured by the AQ level at the top, increases, you can see greater balance across the thinking profile. It smooths out. It smooths out. So if we go back to Laurie Mazen's description of a dynamic leader, and specifically that piece around them understanding the relationship between their internal experience and their external environment, it's because they have balance between their internal and external construction. Now, there are a number of cognitive intentions that make this up, but I'm going to focus on two of the main ones, which are internal and external frame of reference. So that's the lens through which they judge the world, whether it's through an internal judgment or looking externally for a judgment. And at AQ5, at lower levels of dynamic intelligence, we can see that there's large imbalance there. This individual, it could be imbalanced either way. But in this case, this individual is more internal than external. They rely more on their internal frame of reference. But because the gap is so large, it makes it difficult for them to access an external frame of reference. They're not likely to listen to the advice of others and the counsel of others. And then as we go up through the dynamic intelligence levels, gradually increasing it, we can see that that level of balance increases. So someone at AQ8 has only got a 5% difference between internal and external. They're able to switch between them, and they're much more likely to take into account the counsel of others, obviously based on their opinion of how respectable their opinion is, but they're more likely to take account of it. And we can look at this at another way. It's about joining the dots. And so those people at a lower level of dynamic intelligence are able to join less dots together, as illustrated on this slide. And this ability to join the dots is what leads to better decision making and all of the other benefits of greater cognitive complexity, dynamic intelligence, self-awareness.